I can't stand anime. The voices, characters, and worlds are all ones I've never been able to click with. It always tries too hard to take itself seriously, and that's when I lose interest. Almost all the time, the only reason I will ever watch an anime in the first place is because it's based on a video game or a movie series that I like. Even then, it could still be very hit or miss. But the show we're talking about today is different. I only watched it since it's known as the anime for non-anime fans. The show ended up being one of my favorites of all time. It's called Directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, Cowboy Bebop originally aired in 1998 exclusively in Japan. It didn't appear in the West until 4 years later when it aired on Adult Swim with an English dub. This is also one of the only dubs that is considered superior to the original Japanese voice acting. Cowboy Bebop is known for the amount of genres it blends, such as old westerns, film noir, sci-fi, and Hong Kong action films. It follows a group of bounty hunters traveling the solar system, always in search of their next score. Cowboy Bebop would go on to be one of the most critically acclaimed anime of all time and is considered to be the best anime ever made. That being said, if you haven't, please go watch the original Netflix. This video is going to contain spoilers for the original show, and I'd much rather you watch Cowboy Bebop knowing little to nothing about it. If you have watched the original show, good on you. If you haven't watched the new live-action Cowboy Bebop on Netflix, then also good on you. You should keep it that way. Now we all know the reason this remake was made: money. Pre-existing popular IPs print cash, especially when an IP with a fanbase that hasn't gotten any new content since 2002. Why exactly Netflix decided to make a live-action version of an animated show is anybody's guess, especially since it's worked so well before in the past. At first I was excited for this new Cowboy Bebop. John Cho as Spike Spiegel seems like perfect casting, and honestly, it still is. Despite being one of the best martial art actors right now, the most popular thing Cho has starred in, according to Google, is Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. So I was kind of hoping that he'd get a break with Cowboy Bebop. It was shaping out to be this way since he put in a ton of effort to try and nail his role. He studied the way Spike moved in order to develop a specific walk. He grew his hair out so whenever he did stunts it would look authentic. This makes it more devastating when Cho's portrayal as Spike is just okay. It's not really his fault, but more the writers who didn't have a great understanding of the source material. For some reason they made Spike a lot more of a jerk for no reason at all, and he resorts to killing a lot more often than he did previously. It's like the writers watched a Spike Spiegel best moments compilation on YouTube and called it a day. The original Cowboy Bebop had 24 episodes that ranged from about 20 to 24 minutes long. Every single one almost felt like an entire movie cut down with amazing storytelling, writing, and voice acting. The new Cowboy Bebop has 10 episodes and they are all 1 hour long. This time around, almost all of the dialogue between characters feels like filler.
Sounds to me like blackmail.
You're damn right it is, because, Jet, you are black and you are male.
And honestly, these episodes should have been 20 to 24 minutes long. For some reason, the show goes in the direction of a sitcom with lots and lots of corny jokes between everybody. There might as well have been a laugh track added in.
Stop. I'm begging you.
Next big score, I'm getting one for the ship. Maybe two. One for each foot.
Foot. Jed, a bidet is a toilet that cleans out your asshole.
Did I run into you? Oh, do you mind?
The original Cowboy Bebop needed literally none of this extra dialogue because it did such an amazing job building every single one of its characters. Now the remake crew just kind of feels like budget versions of their 1998 counterparts, which they are. Faye, for starters, is an entirely different character. For some reason the writers really wanted you to hate her, so they made her as annoying as possible. The original, she was one of the coolest characters with a snarky attitude, but now she's just some annoying jerk who always has unfunny quips. I think that this is also due to a bad understanding of the source material. The same goes for Vicious. The original, he was a katana-wielding crazed assassin that felt like a true rival to Spike. Now he's some dude who's always getting his butt kicked and starts whining about how he just got his butt kicked. Also, in the original, Vicious didn't appear until episode 5 and didn't reappear for another 7 episodes. This heightened the mystery of who exactly Vicious was and how he was connected to the spike. In the end, we don't really get that many answers, and we don't need them either. In the new Cowboy Bebop, we get so much unnecessary dialogue, like Vicious telling Spike how he shaves his balls. The new show starts giving us unnecessary answers to questions we didn't need answering, such as why Spike and Vicious were so close and how they joined the syndicate. Instead of each episode being a self-contained story, that everything has to be connected now. This means we get all the answers immediately with no build-up and no speculation. You might be saying, well, this isn't a remake, this is an expansion to the original canon. Okay then, why in all the promotional material, Netflix keeps comparing shots from the remake to the original, claiming it's not the original to show that they're faithful to the source material? Because we know that they're anything but. Well, okay, I'll give them credit where credit is due. They were able to nail Jet Black's character extremely well. In fact, he's the only character that didn't feel inferior to the original. The whole side story of him having a daughter worked really well and adds a ton of depth to his character. I guess you could say the reason Jet translated so well over to live action is because he's the most realistic character in the entire show. Well, aside from that, there's one lesson we could all learn, is that anime doesn't translate well to live action, period. The best example of this is Ed.
Spike Spiegel!
No. Spike Spiegel. Not anymore.
Yes, you are. You're Spike, Cowboy, Bounty Hunter for hire!
What is with the camera angles, and why does it look like a Spy Kids movie all of a sudden? You wouldn't know the real reason why Ed doesn't appear until the very last minutes of the show, well, other than trying to set up the second season, of course. It's because she would have been very hard to nail down. The best way I can put it is like this. When playing a VR game like Beatsaber, you feel awesome as you try to swing your lightsabers around to get the highest score. But to anybody else, it looks like you're having a stroke. Ed's walk, voice, and extreme facial expressions come off as silly in the anime, as intended to. But in the live action, it's all just so creepy. I seriously don't know how they can fix Ed or make her even remotely better. If there's anything that the Cowboy Bebop remake has taught us, is that I wasted 10 hours of my life that I'm not going to get back. The only reason I finished the series was to make this video so you don't make the same mistake that I did. If you want to know what happens in this show, you can probably just find a much more entertaining video on YouTube. If you're wondering, no, this isn't a review because there's so much more they have to complain about, but I don't want this video to be too long. But if I were to score the new Cowboy Bebop, I would give it a 3 out of 10. At least, we still have the original to watch on Netflix, and hey, who knows, maybe someday they'll add the movie.